Hey guys, welcome back to Gunfire Reborn, where we're going to be talking about the new DLC that dropped along with Season 6, which is Echoes of the Primal Grove. For those of you that are new to Gunfire Reborn or never noticed before, here on the main screen you can see all the DLCs as you have purchased them. We got this one up here for whatever it was called, and that one that was called what it was, and this one as well. And right here we have the Echoes of the Primal Grove. So what did we get out of this? Well, we got the new lion character, Cang Jue. We got Yoyo the deer girl, and then these 4 weapons. We're going to start off today by talking about the weapons. Then I'm going to do a run as each character, which hopefully will involve us using some of these weapons. We're going to pop over to the weapons and look at the first one that is in this pack called the Jackpot. The Jackpot is a shotgun with 9 barrels on it. It just shoots in like a grid right in front of you and does some pretty good damage. The most interesting part about this gun isn't the barrels though. It is that every 8 shots you get a random bonus effect, it says. There are 3 on it. It could make your shots have explosive damage, it could add more projectiles, or it can increase the damage. And it's not just that it gets one of those, it could get any amount of those. It could get just 1, it could get 2, or it could get all 3, and it can have none of them. The next gun is going to be the Drift Shard. The Drift Shard is really cool in that it is the first sniper to be on normal ammo. A 4 magazine, meaning every time you pull it back, it shoots 4 times. In addition to that, it has a resource cap of 30 because whenever that fills up, you right click and it shoots out a bunch of tracking arrows that do a bunch of damage. It's very, very fun. Highly recommend that one. The next one I want to talk about is the Viper Sight. It's a new pistol and it's got an interesting mechanic as well. Whenever you trigger 3 critical hits, the next critical hit fires a spread shot, dealing crit damage to the 3 nearest enemies within 8 meters of the target. And when you're aiming down sights, it reveals the weak points of enemies. It's a very fun pistol to have. Obviously, Nona will go nuts for this, so if you're a Nona enjoyer, you're gonna love this gun. It's gonna go with your kit so amazingly. Outside of that, you have a good reason for any sniper player that just wants to click heads to take a pistol instead of a sniper rifle for once. So if you're looking to get the benefits out of that, and get like maybe the spiritual link for critical rush, you're looking at your main gun for that. And last but not least, we now have the Armillary Sash. It counts as a staff weapon and it says shots chain up to 3 targets. On hit, enemies obtain 1 ping stack. On elemental effect, enemies obtain 2 ping stacks up to a max of 8. Then when you right click, it detonates the ping, more pings, more damage. Now what's exceptional about this is that you can change it to whatever element you want, similar to the talisman weapon. You just have to activate your weapon fire button to switch it from fire to corrosion or energy. But note the wording on what it says up here. On elemental effect, enemies obtain 2 ping stacks. That doesn't say it has to do it. If you're playing as the prince, for instance, and you're holding this, throwing your grenade will give them the 2 pings of elemental effect. The weapon doesn't have to do elemental effect, anything can. This is an amazing weapon, very versatile. You could do it in a gun run, you could do it in a skill run. As long as you're doing something with elemental damage, the Armillary Sash is going to be good for you. Hopefully we get to see those weapons as we travel through the game into these other characters, but for now, I think we're going to do our deep dive into Cang Jue. He is a lion and he is basically a JoJo's character. So I'm going to assume my cat form. First of all, I'm going to start with talking about his secondary, and you'll know that in why in a minute. But his secondary is Cloudbind Seal. It says you cast a AoE that applies Shadowbind to the first enemy it hits, and the Shadowbind, when it's enhanced, will lift them up into the air, and then when it's wrapped around the enemy, it makes this orb that makes them easier to hit. Now notice it says it costs 120 Vigor for that. Vigor is his passive resource. And now it is time for us to talk about the primary so that we can better explain Vigor. Are you ready for this?
Oh my goodness!
Okay, so there is a lot to go over here. Vigor. You have 120 max stacks of Vigor. You restore 3 vigor per second, and after so many ranged hits, you'll get 1 vigor. X equals 25% of the main weapon magazine capacity. So if you are trying to gain as much vigor as you can per second off of your weapon, you are going to need to consistently land hits without missing and to have it chew up a large portion of your magazine. That doesn't mean you want to have a big magazine, because you're going to have to hit multiple hits in a row without missing, and if you have it lower than that, you could get more. Fist Stance. Your base attack power is 500. You lose your shield and transform. You gain 250 extra HP, and you lose almost all of your health restoration effects from things like your hero skills, your ascensions, and your talents. Any of this that would affect your health, any of your ascensions that would affect your health regen, and any of the things from the talent tree. However, any scroll effects are going to remain there, and any of the seasonal mechanics that could affect your health will still apply here. When your health drops to 1, gain damage immunity lasting for a second and exit Fist Stance. When you press your primary skill button, you go into Fist Stance. You kind of feel like a boss character that's unlocked at the end of a fighting game story mode, and you lose all of your shield, but you get a lot of health. So for him, building shield, if you're going to be using this ability, is a bad idea. You are not going to get the benefits of your shield while you're in this mode. Moving on. Combo. Each enemy hit by strikes gains 1 stack for 4 seconds. Every 10 stacks, increase the base attack power for strikes up to 150%. Whenever you start punching enemies in this form, you're going to start building up your attack power as well. You'll see a little combo count on the side of the screen, so it's not something that's like one of those little buff icons in the bottom. It actually is a big number up on the screen that's easy to keep track of. Skill, Guard Stance, an alternate secondary skill, exclusive skill during Rage Morph. So the Cloudbind seal, that is what happens when you're in normal mode, but whenever you go into the Fist Stance, that is replaced with Guard Stance. It costs 30 vigor. It will restore 20% of your max HP, remove any debuffs, and then reduce damage taken by 80% for 3 seconds. You deal 25% extra attack power as skill damage to enemies within 5 meters, and reduce their movement speed by 75% for 1.5 seconds. To give that all context and meaning for you, you need to build up a little bit of vigor, which requires you to land hits on enemies. Then once you've got enough vigor, you activate this, giving yourself a little Kaioken bonus on top of going Super Saiyan, which doesn't make sense. Don't think about it too much. Quick Step replaces your dash. Exclusive skill during Rage Morph. Dash forward 12 meters. This is a huge dash in comparison to most characters. Deal attack power times 100% to enemies hit, which at base is 500, plus 60% movement speed after use, lasts until using strikes, and can instantly chain into the final hit of basic strike or advanced strike 2. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But basically, you want to dash into enemies because you're going to get an attack power hit on them, and then you'll have extra movement speed after that, and you can chain into your finishers quicker. So what does it mean by chain into your finishers? Well, you've probably been eyeballing this down here the whole time I've been talking, because this looks like some Bayonetta, Devil May Cry button combination stuff. It's not that complicated. First of all, your left click is your strikes, and your right click is your advanced strikes. That's all that really is. Basic strike, left, left, left. Blue box means it restores vigor. Red box means it costs vigor. Everything that's a blue box is a left click. Everything that is a red box is a right click, or that one thing there for the ranged attack. Basically, left click until you're over 60 vigor, and then right click until you have used up all your vigor. Now, you may also notice that there is some additional stuff down here. Why does that say Basic Strike 4 Flash Star with Ascension Star Tempest and Advanced Strike 3 Verdict with Ascension Final Verdict? Well, that is because these combos are unlocked through your Ascensions. We're going to go over here to look at his ascensions, and you're going to see right here, Star Tempest is this one. When you get the first rank of it, it unlocks Basic Strike 4 Flash Star, which is that JoJo's rapid fire punching that's going to destroy your enemies. These build Vigor really well. As you can see, the third hit builds Vigor, and this fourth hit builds Vigor. On top of that, we've got Final Verdict, which unlocks the third strike of your right click. But here is another massive important part of taking this. Not only is this going to increase your damage, I mean, just look at these levels here. Damage becomes attack power times 1200% and 1800 for the second hit. But the last part right here is what's really important. No Vigor cost when combo is over 30. So if you are able to keep your combo going, it becomes way more spammable and way more consistent. On top of that, because of that rapid attack on the Flash Star, you're going to build combo super fast. So getting at least one rank of this and one rank of this is what's going to make him explode for you. When you're in the middle of a run and you go to the tab for the hero tree, you'll see the talents on this side. After you've gotten 6 gold goblets, one of them, the final one, will be lit up down here, and you'll be able to activate one of the unactivated ascensions somewhere on his tree. It doesn't have to be those two, or let alone even one on the Mind Fist tree. It can be any of these. But obviously, if you're trying to use the Mind Fist, you're going to want to make sure that you have both Star Tempest and Final Verdict activated. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to build combo and kill enemies. As for his other two trees, Cloudbind is all about having control through putting these bubbles on enemies, lifting them up when you have the Vigor, or otherwise making it easy to hit. You can see this one says that instances of explosion damage, or when expiring, detonates to deal an extra amount of damage once to enemies in the area. This sort of alludes to the fact that he should probably be using low magazine size explosion damage weapons. And then this tree over here for Shadow Slayer is all about building Vigor in different ways or getting bonuses from Vigor. So now we're going to do a run as Cang Jue. We are still going to be doing this in the season, so I hope you don't mind. And if you are confused about anything to do with the season, I have a whole guide video that I just released on that, so you can probably click on a thing up there that I'll do in the future. And for his spiritual blessing, we are going to go with Armed Caster, because we're going to do a primary damage run, and we're going to be building up our skill damage in order to make this happen. So what are we going to do on top of Armed Caster? We're going to get his very specific primary ability, because it's going to give us Defiant Stance. Unrivaled Swiftness. In so many words, as you fight enemies and build Vigor and combo, you're going to see that tick up and up. And when you get to 6 out of 6, you can activate it, heal yourself back up to full to unleash an invincible, super strong attack. And before you get down to 1 health, before you lose all your health, prematurely activate it to hit those enemies. Why? Because if you wait until you get down to 1 health and have it auto activate, whenever you exit that unrivaled state, you'll still be at 1 health, which means any single hit will pull you out of it. After you've used those 6 stacks, you can get them back again and then get another full heal and then enter the Defiant state again. What we're going to be trying to do in this run is enter into our fist stance and never leave it. We want to be a hulking Leviathan for the entire run if we can. For a lot of characters, when you enter these alternate or super powered primary modes, you have a timer, some sort of limiter that keeps you from being in them permanently. With him, you can activate it and stay in it for as long as you want. You can run out of Vigor, you can enter into a next stage. Now with all of that in mind, let's get this going. What do we want for a weapon? Well, we want to get high crit. An Armed Caster gives you more skill damage based off of the crit of the held weapon. And then for our Fortune Merchant, there are a couple things we're going to be looking for. Inner Flow. This will help us with maintaining Vigor, so that's one that's easy to throw on the team. And now we have 30% extra HP. And then last, let's get a little bit of skill damage. So let's come over here to skill. Oh, nat 1. You hate to see it. Dash forward. We use our guard stance to reduce damage, and we can heal. All right, we got vigor. We're gonna guard stance again. So we get a couple seconds here of massive damage reduction. You can still have weapon effects going off. Specifically here, you can see my armed caster is 237 when I have the sniper on. I switched to the shotgun. It is now down to a 125. So active effects from weapons do still count during this. You may also notice I activated the vault. So even though vaults normally only activate with weapon damage, they made an exception for him so that you can activate vaults while in this form. Dash in, punch. There we go. I'm gonna do a right click and right click. He does have an aerial slam. If you jump and do the left click, he'll do this slam, which does hit all around you, but honestly, the damage scaling on it doesn't feel good. You can use it if for whatever reason you're really high in the air and you want to get back to the ground as quick as possible. He is kind of floaty for some reason. Note how strong the dash attack on its own is. You can kill enemies just by dashing towards them, and in this form you get additional dashes. It does have a longer cooldown time. This one can be good because we're going to get extra health and we're already building off of that. And for every 120 vigor, the next guard stance has no secondary skill use or vigor cost. This one can also be good, even though it's from another tree. You just get passive vigor recovery per second. But for this, we're going to go ahead and take the extra HP because we're trying to build that up. And now we're sitting at a very comfortable 560. We're only at a 5 out of 6 stacks on how much combo and vigor we've gained. You can see in the middle of the screen there, we're at 5 out of 6. So we don't have that full heal ready to go yet, but I think in this room, we're probably going to hit it. So let's dash in. Let's not sit in front of the trap. There we go. We're at 6 out of 6. And let's press our F to get the full heal. And now you see there's like a white bar at the bottom of the screen. This white bar is the 20 seconds of Defiance. If we allow that to tick down, he'll automatically do the big Shadow Strike attack, which we're going to see, but I can end it early by pressing F and hit it there. So there we go. We're back to full health. We're back down to 0 stacks though, but we're still in our ultimate form. Here we go, Star Tempest. This is one of the key things to take. It'd be really easy for you to be like, oh, I want my base strike power to increase. No. You want this over that by a long shot. So we're gonna take that first, and you can see now we go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're gonna see the combo counter tick up way faster now that we have this. Now, this could be a rough room because we're gonna have a bunch of bombers coming at us. And being in melee range against guys that leave big explosions on the ground is never a comfortable situation, but we're gonna use our guard stance, rush in, and then rush out. And now we can build combo here. Immortal enemies are great for this. We can get that combo up even higher. Uh-oh. All right, we're gonna take a lot of damage, so let's go ahead and hit F, enter our Defiance state. And before that runs out, why don't we go straight into this boss fight? So that I can try to use it on the boss. He's gonna spawn in right as this is hitting. And boom. Now, I don't think anyone can say that he doesn't have enough strength early on, because we haven't even gotten the right-click ability up, but this is pretty much what you could expect from Cang Jue. He is a powerhouse. This is wonderful. After dash, 40% damage for 4 seconds. After quick step, enhance the next basic strike or advanced strike with 50% vigor recovery from basic strike or 30% final damage for advanced strike. We're already trying to dash into combat. This is just making it even better. Get the strike wing on board. We're even lucky enough for it to have plus 0.4 crit on it. The good thing about the rapid fist attack is that it hits out in front of you, and it's a better way of dealing with the bombers as they show up. Oh, we lost the combo before we could do it. Dash in, right click, dash in, right click, right click. We're gonna build up. We're over 60 again. We can dash, right click, and now he's dead. We got the golem. We're gonna have to just stand in front of him and beat the crap out of him. I'm gonna let him do one laser here. Dash in, hit him with the strikes. Right click, right click. Remember, we're at 6 out of 6 on our thing. Guard stance me. Right click, build that vigor. Let's go ahead and use our Defiance stance and then use the ultimate hit. All right, over here, we could increase our dash thing, but I want to draw your attention to this one. Vigor Stride. Your vigor cap is increased. Movement speed when vigor is over 60, and the effect lasts 6 seconds after vigor drops below 60. You get the extra movement speed when vigor is above 60, and the effect lasts for 6. Does it just repeat that twice? Wait, it's literally copied and pasted twice. Anyway, I'm gonna take this just so that we have extra vigor, so that when we build it up ahead of time, when we go into attack, we could do right clicks more often, just to get things blown up. Take a look at Deadly Curse here. Normally, in a situation where you're trying to HP stack, I would highly recommend you not take Deadly Curse. Imagine having Flesh and Blood and then losing 75% max HP. It's not good. However, I have close to 600 health. If I were to lose 3/4 of it, that would be 4 to 15, 150. So I would be left with 150 health. But notice what happens when I pick this up. I only go down to 411. That's because the bonuses to health that I'm getting from being in this form, the 250 you get from the fist stance, as well as this extra 100, so 350, isn't part of that. So 350 plus the amount I would have had otherwise is added in there. Blood Valor. You increase damage per 1 HP and restore HP on kill or assist. And we could get more health. Let's do some rough and dirty numbers here. So 203 is what we had with Deadly Curse. Now we have more skill damage. We did a little bit of math. We learned a little bit. Isn't that nice? Plus 1% max HP per negative damage resistance. So never mind, I'm gonna take Dual Edge. So you don't have an aerial right click. If you get launched into the air and do another right click, then you're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna float in the air, which kind of sucks. So instead, try to be mindful that if you hit terrain or do something that would launch you into the air, that you don't just mindlessly right click and not do anything. The punches don't hit quite as high as it looks like they do. So we're gonna right click and right click to try to hit that. And since we're dealing damage based off of our health, you gotta go with the increase to our HP even more. And now we're at 869 max HP. Oh wait, no, it reset immediately. Okay, never mind. I guess that's to keep you from doing it. But look, just one left click combo, and we already got 1 stack, 3 stacks, 4 stacks, 5 stacks. Get that going. All right, we're back to 6 stacks again. Okay, here's a good chance to show the R. So you can use the R to make like a key blast thing. It has a very limited vertical on it, so it can be hard to land a hit. But it is there if you need it. There we go. A little punching ASMR for you. So the punches do act as like a pseudo weapon. If something is between you and it, even though it looks like the fist is going through a wall, it's not going to do damage. It's just gonna get stopped. So you have to have line of sight. So if you saw just then, I was right up on top of him and I wasn't hitting him. I had to back up just to get my fist to be able to punch over that corner. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, the whole purpose of the run We never wanted to drop out, but I'm stuck. I have to drop out. I can't fit in the hole. I'm too big. Door stuck. Door stuck. Can I like back into it? Can I jump? Can we jump dash? Oh, maybe there's a way to jump around. I don't want to give up yet. I don't think there's a way to get there, but I might be able to jump onto that. Okay, okay. But it's possible maybe for me to get on top of this or on top of this. I feel like this is a better option. Let's see. Oh. No. All right, I give in. I give in. We're gonna drop out. Elite gathering time. Can we get over there before all three of them spawn? Guard stance, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, and then F to keep my health up. Right click, right click. Oh, we need to get our vigor back. We're under 60. Oh, it's done. We did it. Oh, extra combo duration. This is amazing. Getting plus 10 seconds added to the combo duration helps out so much so that you can keep it going in between moving from enemy pack to enemy pack or room to room. Mountain Guard level 3. So now we get all of the HP. Going into the worm fight, we've got our maxed out vigor. We don't have a big combo bonus, of course, but what we're gonna do is just dash in and do our double right click, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just dies. Right click, dash, right click, right click. Oh, he disappeared. But here we go, dash, right click, and he's dead. Now we are at the point where we have the rapid punch. 3, and notice this bar isn't going down anymore. We can just permanently do this. This is our life now. We can just do this. Now, as far as I know, this is good for building combo, but it will not continue to build vigor. You only get the vigor bonus right as it starts. So if you're at max vigor, feel free to go ahead and punch away to your heart's content. If you aren't at max, you should probably dash and restart the combo. This isn't a bad situation. We're on all legendaries at least, and we've got a vital mastery there giving us a plus 80, which puts our health at a very meager 1500. Oh, that's a good sign. And elites. There we go. That's something we might have to right click against. Guard stance, right click, right click. Oh my gosh, he's so... Oh. Never mind. Bro had a heart attack. If you're someone that likes rapidly clicking, you can also do this by rapid clicking instead of holding. But I care about my fingers too much to do that to myself. Hey, Crafty Man, you wanna give me the thing I want? You wanna give me the thing I want? I knew you did, bro. I knew you did. So now that brings our armed caster bonus up to 445% skill damage. I can't jump while doing the punching. All right, we're gonna have to right click to get rid of you. They're the only smart ones that decided to stay out of fist range. I think when you're at this point, if you're able to just hold down left click and clear most of the map, you're feeling pretty good. Please tell me I fit. All right. Just mowing the lawn. Just walk this way. Ooh, I can dash while still punching. A little tech. We are at negative 111 damage resistance, which puts us at 3,345 HP. And then because of our Blood Valor, 0.4 times 3,000, I'm just going to assume it's a bit. A smidge of damage there. Ooh, minus 50 damage resistance and an extra 50 HP. Let's see what happens. We're at 4,126. I take this. 5,256. Elite gathering time. All right, he's gonna burrow. Pop up anytime today. All right, now you're vulnerable again. Hey, you. There we go. Oh, look, another. If I ever have to right click again, it's gonna be very strong. Well, I could take Paranormal. You know what? I don't even know what would happen if we took it. It does put you at 1 on this. Okay. I thought it would hit me with the guard stance. There we go. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not on R10. I don't have to worry about like 20 octopi showing up. I do have to stop punching in order to pick this up though. And finish him off. Eventually, I may have to right click, but you know, I'm fine with just punching my way through everything. So I am going to take the recovery per second. And we got Last Stand. When vigor is under 60, instantly restore 30 vigor, max 1 trigger per 20 seconds. Same boat. Oh, a max roll. That's rough. It's a good thing that when we hit enemies, they're all gonna die anyway, so let's go. Not lucky for them. Get a curse scroll for extra HP. There's no contest there. We're over 6,000 HP now. You know, imagine if I could have 2 Blood Valor die on at the same time. I think the game would just implode. Little do they know that hurting me only makes me stronger. I completely forgot to use this Arcane Insight where you can activate one that hasn't been activated, so, well, I'm silly. Instead, we're just gonna go ahead and take Vigor Burn, which increases all damage for every 10 Vigor I have. Come here. Oh, the Thorny Carapace damaged it. I could just let things hit me and my Thorny Carapace is just gonna destroy them. Hold on. Hold on. Guard stance. Anyway. I feel like Bart Simpson doing the swinging my arms and walking forward. Nope. I will kill you all before you can do anything. Congratulations, you suck. Another +1! I've got 5 +1 bumps in a row. I was mad about it at first, but consistently rolling a 1 on my bumps has led to us having a ridiculous amount of reds. Right click there. There's that one. He's gonna come over here and hit that one. Dash, right click. I still had to do 2. And there you go. That is Cang Jue. Obviously, that's only the primary side of it, but we pretty much went through the entire game after transforming and stayed in the transformation the whole time. Look, we even have the finishing screen with him in his ultimate form. Now it is time for us to embark on another character's journey, which is Yoyo. Yoyo is a plant spirit sort of character. She's a deer. I don't have a deer form, so instead I'm gonna go fox, and I'm gonna be my nature element for this. Let me just move myself over here real fast. Her primary is Spirit Summon. Spirit Summon is going to put down a little AoE on the ground that is the Spirit Summon circle. It is also going to create a leaf spirit inside. If there are any seeds inside that circle, they will transform into leaf spirits as well. A leaf spirit is what's in the box here. It is basically a little plant turret. It stays on the ground, it locks onto nearby enemies and shoots them with corrosive damage. The leaf spirit damage is inherited from Yoyo's skill damage and disappears when it reaches 0 health. Her secondary is the Verdant Orb. It has Parasite on it. Whenever you hit an enemy with it, Parasite stacks will be placed on them and they get damage per stack of Parasite. And then when it ticks that damage, they lose a stack of Parasite. You can also hold down her secondary ability and absorb things. What this means for the most part is that you can pick up your spirit summons, your little leaf spirits, and then refresh their health and throw them down again. But it's not limited to just that. As it says, you can pick up destructibles and some monster skills and release them to throw them forward. In addition to all of that, whenever you throw the secondary down, it leaves a seed behind, and that is what you'll use to make more leaf spirits in addition to your primary. What are we gonna do for her? We're going to do a painkiller run because she is very elemental based. She does corrosion damage automatically. And there's a lot of things in the game right now that massively benefit from element, and we're going to try to lean into that because I want to show you all the power of the sash. Forest Infusion. What you need to understand about this is that after you have summoned 250 leaf spirits, you now have the ability to cast a super leaf spirit. This is called a forest spirit. And the way you make them is by casting a new leaf spirit in range of other leaf spirits. You need to have 3 of them together and you'll create one of these forest spirits. That one can be pretty good. Elemental Surge, this one is fantastic. Elemental damage is going to be great for this run. Again, we took Painkiller for a reason. Extra damage per type of elemental effect on target, and because of Painkiller, we're going to do all elemental effects anytime we do any elemental effect. Max rolled it, you love to see that, so we'll get 1 temporary use every 15 seconds with a 3% primary skill final damage per use. Can't go wrong with just some flat skill damage here, and we max rolled on it. You love to see that streamer luck, don't you? This is the AoE that our Spirit Summon does, so if I were to use the secondary ability, you see that seed there? I could place that down, my summon, and now I have 2 of them. That is how that works. Additionally, I can hold down my secondary and grab something and bring it with me. So, you guys will fuck you up. I'm gonna place down my thing. Note, when I threw the pot, it left a seed, and then I was able to throw down the summoning circle on it and turn it into yet another one of our leaf spirits. Pick them up, throw them back down, and there we go. Now, obviously, you still have secondary skill uses. You can't be picking them up and throwing them down that much, but I would also say, depending on what kind of run you're going for, instead of going for a very elemental heavy run like I'm doing with this one with Painkiller, you could have taken Endless Assault at the beginning so that you have a continuous supply of secondary skill uses, which makes it easier to juggle your boys around. If you don't know how staves work, whenever you do skill damage, it's another way to build your weapon resource bar. A lot of weapon resource bars with other weapons are filled by just landing hits on enemies or they passively generate. But when it comes to staves, what you're going to do is do skill damage and it'll build that up automatically, and then you can just focus on doing the right click. So you'll see, without me even shooting, I'm just gonna place down my boys. And I'm already full and I can do a right click. I suppose, learning from my mistakes of the previous run, we'll talk about this now. On the talent tree, we have the Forest Vault. Drop a staff per 50 enemies defeated, 50% chance for corrosive elemental type, and an inscription +1. Whenever weapons drop, at the level they're at, they have that many inscriptions. So this level 0 Crane Chant only has 1 inscription. This +1 should have 2, but because we got that +1, it actually has 3 on it. So this is better than what could normally drop at this point. And it's corrosion damage, and that's what we're trying to work with. Her Hex Bloodline tree over here is all based off of her secondary. It's going to be what builds Parasite. There are a couple of things that blend between these two, and that is this one here, Ally Summon. When a seed spawns, there's a chance to generate a leaf spirit nearby, but this is a special leaf spirit that has increased attack speed, no attack range limit, applies Parasite on hit, but it vanishes after a certain number of attacks. So this is a way to get even more leaf spirits out, even though they're more transient than the other ones. If you are trying to get her special avatar frame for getting, I think it's like 2,000 Parasite stacks maxed out in a single run, the best thing I can tell you to do is to get as little skill damage stuff as possible, Endless Assault, and just start going to town throwing them around. You don't want a lot of skill damage because you don't want to kill things before they get to max stacks, and just let the Parasite damage do its work. The middle tree has everything to do with her spirit summons. They're going to get more damage, they're going to get more life. Oh, this is the one that just randomly summons them in. This one is really good for just maxing out the number that you have. For the last tree, this is a little bit of a mixed bag between skill damage, stabs, and corrosion. For this one, after you've cast weapon skills so many times, your next skill will refund the amount of the weapon skill. you can use a weapon skill that doesn't cost anything and then swap to a weapon skill that does, and that will happen. It seems like a bug. I don't think that's intended, and they might fix it by the time you watch this video if it does. Sorry you missed out on that silliness. We are going to do a little bit of stuff with our staves. Drop some boys back there. I'm going to take this just to show how it's broken. Drop a parasite down, then put that up. That'll give us 2 spirits. It's a good way to lead into a fight. Now, their range is pretty small at the beginning, so you gotta get them mighty close in order for them to hit. And they don't have a lot of health, so if like a bomber or something puts down an AoE, you're going to lose them really quick to it. Armillary Sash! Well. When a seed spawns, there's a chance to generate a leaf spirit nearby. That's one that we can take. When we get that elemental effect bonus, you're gonna see the ping showing up on enemies, and then we're gonna use it to pop on them. We can also use your weapon button down here to change it, just like you would the talismans. And since we're a corrosion-based character that builds off of decay and slow, we're gonna use the corrosion. There we go. You can see when they hit and they do an elemental effect, it does the ping. I'm gonna throw down a parasite and then hit them with that. Hit them with that. Drop down another. Drop down another. There we go. Simple as. I should be casting my primary as much as I can all the time, simply so that we can get more of these number of leaf spirits, so that we can get our blessing online. Technically, you could have like sat at the very beginning of the game and just spammed them until you got to them, but that's boring as all hell, so we're not gonna do that. Build those boys up. Keep an eye out for those ping counts. When they get up to 8, you'll want to right click to pop them. Popping them before they get up to like 6 or 7 feels like a waste, in my opinion. Here we go. Vernal Emergence. Summon a leaf spirit near a random enemy in front every 5 seconds with a minus to that cooldown per spirit summon hit. So the more my spirit summons hit, the more random little leaf spirits will appear. Alright, I got a setup that works for the glitch, so I'm going to show it to you. Again, after 3 casts of weapon skill, the next weapon skill refunds 100% weapon skill resources. So what I got as the combination here is going to be the radioactive gauntlet, because every time you hit the right click here to hit the little rhythm game thing, that counts as a weapon skill. And over here, we just need to build this up so that we have the weapon skill resources to be refunded. So let's get this all the way up. We're going to hit this several times. We've done that enough. Let's do our right click. Again, 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 again. It just doesn't stop. There you go. That is how that can be utterly abused. So keep that in mind. I'm going to pump this up just a little bit to make those explosions do a little more for us. But at the end of the day, our weapon damage is going to be very negligible. Alright, give you some seeds. And look at that. The boys are back in town to kill you. You know what? We could just go ahead. You could just constantly hit, even though I want the Armillary Slash. Oh my, I keep saying slash. It's a sash. The Armillary Sash to be our main damage dealer. For right now, we can just have my beautiful baby boy, my Starfly, doing his thing. Look at just the field coverage here. We haven't even gotten like a single thing to increase the amount of time they're alive. But we can throw down a parasite and then hit a summon on it and put down so much. I'm gonna put down that, and then cast here. Get a whole bunch of boys all at once. Cast again, and he's dead. You might be asking, Eoti, why is it that you're doing 2 skill damage runs in a row? Isn't that very monotonous? I could understand that, but I also feel like if you're trying to show the strengths of a character, knowing that their primary and secondaries are very large parts of their kit, it's hard to avoid doing a skill damage run when showing them off. That's also why when I did the season guide, I specifically did Momo on a weapon skill run, just so that I could make sure out of all of these guide videos, we did have weapon damage represented on there. And to be fair, it ended up being a very strong run, right? Notice every time I go to place down my primary, I do a secondary first so that the seed grows and I get 2 out of it. Did I hit my max stacks yet? Hold on. There we go. We got a big boy. So this is the forest spirit from the description of the blessing. The best way you could do that easily is throw down 2 of your secondaries and then do your primary. We can also pick you back up and throw you down to keep you alive. And we're just going to be juggling these boys forward. We can have so many of our big boys with us. So before we even start fighting, I can just launch these. Paratroopers, go! Drop in! Aww! And look at their unlimited range. We can throw down a couple here and then make another one. We can push you forward. Go, my big boy. Go, large lad. Make mama proud. And you can see these guys really lay into them. Leaf Spirit Life. That will help us in the juggling. Elite Gathering. There we go. Just stack all our boys up in one spot. As long as they don't get hit with a bomber or some terrible AoE, they're gonna do a disgusting amount of damage. Point in case. I feel like the Wind God is gonna not die as quick because of his invulnerability phases, but what can we do about that? Now let's do a little prep. Toss you forward. Toss you forward. Toss you forward. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it's not Reincarnation 10. There's no invulnerability phase. Ooh, can't complain about that. Masterful craftsmanship. That would be good for us to get a really nice sash when it does show up. So I'll take that. I'm gonna take Endless Assault here so that I can continuously juggle my boys and not have to worry about running out of uses. Here we go. Total damage to enemies hit by hero skills within 5 seconds, which is gonna be everyone because instead of focusing on dragging my boys with me, I'll just make new boys everywhere. Leave a trail of boys. Try to get the high ground with them so that they can shoot down on enemies. They're not even spawning in. They don't even have a chance to spawn in. It's time for an elite fight. How fast do you think this is gonna go? Just putting down all the boys that we can. You're dead. At this point, the run pretty much plays by itself. You've already seen the entire strategy here. All we're doing is making big boys. If we need to, we can launch them into the fray to do our dirty work for us. And it did! Alright, we got the red on this, and the red skill boost is so good because not only do you get 200% skill damage from it, which is amazing, but then you have a 15% chance to increase the final damage by another 300%. Got so many seeds laying around. So many boys. Don't forget to occasionally right-click. What are you doing back here? That's what I thought. Boat! Okay. Our little boys take care of everything, and the big boys take down the other boys. And all our boys will be boying. There'll be a lot of boy smell around. There we go. Get another one out there. There we go. Let's make sure to continuously throw stuff down after the cutscene, then they'll instantly be on there. Right click. Just gonna leave them in the middle if I can. There we go, and that should knock it down super fast. Oh, they won't spawn up there? Okay. Hey, we did get what we were looking for, and we got Gale Leaf activated. 35% chance for Elite Spirit attacks in the Nature Domain to deal 1 extra instance of damage on hit. We had gotten energy storage at some point, that would have been nice too. Oh, you'll notice now that we have the bubble in the center of the screen, you can see the HP remaining on the shield. So if we were actually using it, that's what that's for. Sorry I didn't point that out. Go, my boys. I don't even know what the task was supposed to be, but we certainly did do it, didn't we? Elite time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll elite in very fantastic lands. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think they're dying. Yep. They're dead. Per slow on enemy? Sure. I mean, we are putting decay on them a lot. Oh my gosh, we did just happen to nail the ones we were looking for. We're gonna stick them out in front of him when he's doing his big suck, and maybe they will outpace his suck damage. I can't carry anything in here with me, so we're just gonna have to drop this down and just go for it. Like that. Alright, big suck. Oh, he went invulnerable again. Yep, he's just gonna go right into it again. Put down a bunch. And he's dead. He died during the suck. So yeah, I think that works pretty well. And the climactic finish was all of our big boys just spitting on a guy until he gave up. And with that, I hope you understand how to play Yo-Yo at least a little bit. You put down your boys, you pick up your boys, and your boys do all the heavy work for you. You can do a parasite-only run, it's fine too, but I think the more fun part is playing with all of your summons. Now, in the course of that, the events that have transpired here today, I did not have an opportunity to play with all of the guns, so I'm just gonna jump into another run real fast. Got the Viper sight straight out of the starting stash here. So this is a new pistol that can basically act as a mini sniper, and you're gonna get to see the really cool reticle that's on this. Whenever you're scoped in, you're gonna see the weak points on enemies as a little blue box. And then if you land 3 crit hits, the next crit hit fires a spread shot, dealing critical damage to the 3 nearest enemies within 8 meters of the target. So now that I've done 3, you can see on the back of the gun here, the 3 is now glowing red, which means that would pop off if there was... Yeah, there we go. Shot it. You know what? Maybe if there isn't anyone in range, it stores it for later. Yeah, okay, it just stores it. That's cool. So if you get it built up and then you shoot it on an enemy that's all alone, it'll save it for the next time there's enemies in range. That's cool. Nice little quality of life improvement to it before it was even a problem. I also like how when the reticle is lit up for the crit, it makes it easy to look into a crowd of enemies and be able to pick out heads. Sometimes when you're doing these like crit-based runs, you'll see a crowd of enemies and heads will get lost in the middle of it and you'll have a hard time landing them. Ooh, look at this. We got the Jackpot from out of the Phantom Peddler. Now this one has a unique inscription that says, each draw effect gains an extra boost. Projectiles plus 25%. Final damage plus 50%, or explosion range plus 2. As you can see in the middle of the screen, we have 3 indicators here. This is the one for explosion damage, this is the one for extra projectiles, and this is the one for final damage. So we're going to shoot some shots here, pop some guys, and you'll see when I hit the final shot, boom, I now have an indicator that shows that we're gonna have extra projectiles and explosion damage. And also, there's this little screen on the gun that's really cool. It shows you that we have the extra projectiles active and the explosion damage active. Alright, I've now shot 8 times, and now I have lost the extra projectiles, and now we are down to explosion damage. And now we have explosion and damage. So now we got extra damage, but we don't have the extra projectiles. And that basically lets you see how that works. Every time you shoot this 8 times, you get a different combination. Pretty correctly named, considering it's got random benefits on it, but it is pretty cool and pretty strong. Oh, we have no bonus right now. All 3 bonuses. Extra damage. Extra projectiles. And explosive ammunition. That's the jackpot. Haha. Alright, I got a hold of a drift shard. This one's got a special agile affix to it, but you can forget about that. It is a normal ammo gun. It has 4 in the magazine. Every time you pull the trigger, you do 4 shots. It does have different targeting modes on it. You can see right now I have it set to hidden, but then we could do a large reticle or a small reticle, which allows you, when you fill up the weapon resource meter, to decide how big of a scope you want on your homing shots. If you want to be able to hit as wide of a targeting area as possible, you can put it on there. If you want it to be more focused so that you could do single target, you could use that as well. So what I'm going to do is just run into this room and shoot a couple guys, build up my resources here, and then launch it out. I really like this weapon. I think it's very cool. The arrows shooting out, they do a decent amount, though they don't seem to home in on weak points. So don't expect this to land a bunch of crits for you. It can hit crits, but they don't seem to aim in on the weak points like some things do when they auto-target. So don't expect that to always crit. Get this built up and then look at a whole room and send out a whole bunch of arrows all over the place. Pretty neat. So a little quirk about this is that, let's say you wanted to shoot things, but there's something in the way. You could shoot it out and then lock onto it afterwards. So for example, we have one enemy left in the room here. I'm going to shoot while not looking at him and then look over to him, and it should lock on. Just like that. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope it taught you a thing or two about the characters if you were a little bit lost. I know we didn't go into every kind of build that you could do with them, but this should get you started. And if it got you interested in getting the DLC, let me know down there, as well as any cool interactions with the weapons or the characters from this video so that I can hear all about that. It's crazy the things that you could do in this game with all the permutations between the abilities and the scrolls and the weapons and their inscriptions. So it helps to have the community come together so that we can find out all the little quirks. But do me a favor, and until next time, remember to take care of yourself and take care of those around you. Bye-bye.